Okay, everyone, I am pressed for time, so I want to keep this short. But I didn't do one of these last week, which was fine because I've actually read very little over the last few weeks. My reading has slowed down considerably the whole month of December. Um, and just in the last 2 weeks, I've finished 4 books as opposed to, say, like the normal 8. And normally I'd finish 8 in 2 weeks and be well on my way to finishing 4 more, but I barely finished 4 in 2 weeks here. So, real quick, I'll go over those 4 books and then I'll show you the books I got for Christmas, pretty much. Since I don't do separate book hauls, but I mention any book I get here. Um, Besides these books I finished, I've been into several other books. I've just read very little of them, and they're mostly been academic lately. So, like The Northern Earldoms by something Crawford, I'm forgetting her name right now, or Judith Jess's late the Vikings, I don't remember, some late Viking age book, Ships and Men or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. Obviously I'm paying really good attention. Or heck, I even read more in this book recently, another few chapters in manuscript studies here, because I'm going to be on a panel for illuminating manuscripts at a conference coming up here in like a month and a half. So thought I should read up more on that to refresh myself. And learn something new, of course. But anyways, the 4 books I finished, one of them I don't have physically, so I'll mention that one first. And that was The Wreath by, oh my goodness, Sigrid Undset or something like that. And that was okay. That was not quite what I was expecting. I was expecting, I don't know, something else. It kind of came off as a soap opera. I wasn't expecting that. Heavy into drama, and stuff like that. In some senses, it's not as sleazy as some soap operas, but it definitely deals with like love and relationships and blah blah blah. But it's set in like medieval Norway. The book came out about 100 years ago. It was okay. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, but it was okay. There are 2 more books in the series. I'm not sure. I would like to read them actually, but I just don't know when that would happen. All right, so that's the first book I read, The Wreath. It's also sometimes called The Bridal Wreath in English. And then I also read 3 books right here that are physical. The first one I finished actually of these 3 was Great Heart by Dixie Lee McKeown. This was for my Wednesday video, so I finished it a while ago. But the earliest almost of these 2 weeks books I've read. It was okay. Not bad, not great. I have one other Birthright book. I would like to try it. I pretty much don't have really anything else to say about it here, but you can go watch that video about me talking about all the D&D settings. Since now finishing Birthright, I read a book from every D&D setting that has books, I should say, like a novel or whatever. And then I also finished Dark Walker on Moonshay. Though I realize I finished this digitally, so my bookmark's still on it. The first Forgotten Realms novel, very different in feel. I don't think it has anything to really do with it being early. I think it has everything to do with it being, the origins of the book itself. It was okay. I actually really enjoyed the first half of the book. Second half of the book, I really didn't care for really much at all. So wasn't a huge fan of it overall. Just unfortunate. I'm generally okay even with the more mediocre books in the Forgotten Realms. There's plenty. All right, there's 300 books. So plenty are going to be mediocre. Another one, though, that I also finished is also Forgotten Realms that I found to be very mediocre is Servant of the Shard by R.A. Salvatore. It's been, I think, over a year since I read a Legend of Drizzt book, and so I was like, I should finally start these. I don't have the matching sets with the Todd Lockwood cover art. In fact, this is the furthest Drizzt book I have, really. I don't have the sequels to this, too, and Cell Swords. And I would like to get this one. I got this from Nico, actually, a while ago now, but I would like to get this in the newer set to match my other copies. Man, this book I did not enjoy. It pretty much has like no character I really care for in it, right? Like Jarlaxle's okay, but the book really focuses on Artemis and Triri more than Jarlaxle, and I do not care for her and Triri. And then And a interesting plot twist, which is a spoiler, but I don't care. Anyways, is that like once you're 2/3 way into the book, maybe closer to half, you get Catterley, Bonaduce from the Cleric Quintet, and like his people, like the people that are involved in those books as well. And I freaking hate those books. That's my least favorite Forgotten Realms series I have read. Um, I just can't stand it, and I can't stand Salvatore's style. It's terrible. It's so bad. I don't understand how people like these. Even people that watch my channel and they'll be like, "Oh, I love those," and I'm like, "How? How do you like these? These are garbage." Anyways, I will shut up before I just go on a huge long rant because it will happen. Um, anyways, I'm so sick of the Crystal Shard. I'm so sick of these phony evil drow. You know, Intrury is like the edgiest, coolest guy ever. I'm so sick of it. And I freaking hate Catterley with a passion. Ugh. He was fine in like the first two books where he was like kind of okay, even the first three in some sense. But he's just insanely powerful after that. And it's ridiculous. He's not even a likable character. Um, anyways. Okay, that's it. Pretty much so. So let me show you real quick the books I got. So first up at the top of the stack, actually, it was a gift from my buddy Sean. The Coming of Christianity, Anglo-Saxon England. This has been on my wish list for years, and I think this is just Sean's copy. He had laying around, and I'm excited to finally get to it. It is, like I said, years. So this looks like oh my goodness, is it Dunstan's Cross? Why am I blanking on that? Cuthbert's Cross, not Dunstan. Sorry. Yeah, St. Cuthbert's Cross here on the cover, which is cool. But yes, looking forward to reading this. I also got 3 books just from, my own family's gift giving for Christmas, which funnily enough, is actually considerably less than I've ever gotten for Christmas. 3 books. Right. And in part is it's because my own finances are just awful. And they have been for about a year actually. So last Christmas I didn't get a lot either. But the other people that tend to buy me a lot as well of books are my parents, and their finances. My dad's been out of a job for over a year. So great economy. Anyways, I got Easter, a pagan goddess, a Christian holiday, and their contested history by Richard Sermon. This is the 5th book, I believe, published by Upsala Books. I had the first 4, but I had not been able to get this one because, again, I'm broke. So, but here we are. I'm excited to read it. Very excited to read it. And it's pretty short. Also got the Hellion. Well, this is actually not the whole Hellion. I'm not even sure what version you get to find for the Hellion. And, anytime I post on social media, no one responds to me. And I made a post asking about it. Of course, people might not know, obviously, don't follow me. But this is pretty much the Gospels, the New Testament Gospels, but in like it's in the Old Saxon language, which is really close to Old English. Not quite the closest language Old English, but like second closest language Old English. I don't know why my camera is doing terrible things right now. Anyways, so I'm looking forward to it. I've actually been translating. I don't know. I might make a video about this at some point, but I started another project, and that's translating some Old English homilies. And a name they often use for Christ in Old English homilies, at least Alfred does, is Halland, which is the same word in Old English as this is in Old Saxon, Heliand. So, anyways, so instead of like just normal Lamb of God Christ, you get warrior Christ, and his apostles are a band of retainers, like type of thing. So, I look forward to going through this. So, I actually found out which version this Cathy version through a Signum University space course. This was given a few years ago, and that was the text for the course. Anyways, also got Waltarius, the Latin epic of Walter of Aquitaine, which is translated by Brian Murdoch and edited by Leonard Nydorf. Nydorf, just everything. But he is also part of Upsala Books. So this is their 6th publication. So their final one. So just came out in December this month. And so with Easter and then this, I now have all of Upload Books publications again. Um, and I would like to talk about both of them maybe. Altorius is interesting because it's a Germanic epic poem in a sense, but it's actually written in Latin. It's not written in any Germanic language. So it's not like a saga or Beowulf or whatever, it's written in Latin. So that's pretty interesting. Honestly, I had not really heard of it. I'd heard of Walter and his legend because in Old English there's Waldera and Waldera, which is like a fragment, so not complete. All right. Anyways, I don't know. I think there's Middle High German text as well. Anyways, those are all academic related since these 4 books. And that was actually one thing I was thinking about because I haven't watched the video yet, but I saw someone's video on their top 10 nonfiction books, and I was like, I read books that are not nonfiction. When I like to read old and ancient stuff, I often don't want to return to a history book about it. I want to turn to the text itself, right? So this is not a nonfiction book. This is a fictional book. It just happens to be over 1,000 years old, right? So I like doing that. So I do like reading stuff like the coming of Christianity and Sex, England, and Easter, of course. Anyways, a viewer, I'm not sure if he wants me to mention his name or anything, but a viewer was very kind enough to send Michael Shea's Niftaline. I haven't been able to find a copy of this ever, and I got this the day after Christmas. So happy St. Stephen's Day, Boxing Day, whatever. Very happy to have this. Actually, I have started it because I can't not, right? But I'm hardly into it. I'm like on page 2. So into the preface, which is a eulogy for the main character, Niftaline. So it's so good to start. And I've only read one other thing by Michael Shea, and that was A Quest for Symbolism. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I'm hoping unless something awful happens with my reading schedule, then I'm hoping I maybe even finish this week. Again, like I'm hardly into it at all, but. And then in related notes, actually, I finally got my pledges for New Edge Sword and Sorcery, which I would like to have reviews out for as soon as I can. I'm not in a huge Sword and Sorcery mood right now. Maybe Niftaline will put me in one. But yeah, so I have these. My buddy, Tim, actually, has a story. This one, which is also cool because if you notice the artwork, is Jarell. And I really like Jarell. And there's an authorized story in here. I think it's by Tanzer of Jarell Jory. So, which is awesome, to be completely honest. So, I'm generally a fan of the stuff that New Edge does. So, yeah. Well, look at that. I think I'll enjoy this for the most part. Where the hell am I? I get so turned around looking at this stuff. Of Cabbages and Stone by Timaeus Bloom. Maybe it's I don't like it anymore because, well, maybe, yeah, I do. Of course. It's actually set in a world I created. If you've read my novella, this story by Timaeus Bloom here, of Cabbages and Stone, is in the same world as Dreamer Awake. So, anyways, get on that. So some good reading in the future. And hopefully more, because it's slacked. So I think this Wednesday I'd like to have maybe like an update on my Forgotten Realms reading, because I'll record it the day this comes out actually, and so it'll come out on New Year's Day. But I am a firm believer of not posting a top 10 books until after the year's over. So next Sunday I'll probably record my top 10 reads for the year, and I don't think I'll make it as fancy as I did last year, where I listed a bunch of stuff, because no one really seemed to care. So, and that was just a lot more work. So I think I'll just do a top 10 and make it pretty straightforward and basic this time, like I'd done in the years prior. So anyways, look forward to those videos if I actually get them recorded. My other channel, I'll have some videos coming out too. I have one already recorded coming out a week from today. So anyways, Link from Loom's Lyceum, let me know what you have been reading, anything exciting for Christmas or any other holiday. I celebrated Hanukkah when I was younger, but not anymore. Didn't get any Hanukkah presents this year. But anyhow, nice to talk to you though.